Good morning or a good day from the time that you're watching this. But this is a review of the lecture by Ibbo Mandaza. At the time of this recording, this is 3:32 a.m. Central African time. And I just wanted to comment as the headline says that have Zimbabwean given up? And this is one of the questions that was asked by a local South African close to who says he stays close by to where the public lecture was being held by the SABC Trust leader, Ibbo Mandaza, Professor Ibbo Mandaza, on the state of democracy in SADC region. I'm still going to give you some snippets and reflections on what Ibbo Mandaza said, but I just thought let us talk about this, what this gentleman has said about us as Zimbabweans. So this is what he had to say. Let us just listen.
My name is Prof. I attended on my capacity as a resident around WITS. I don't have a mandate. This WITS university is within WITS in terms of demarcation municipality. We hear the information that has been given us by Prof. Dr. Ibbo Mandaza. But one, as he is sitting here, we hear the rules and we understand the importance of international relations, especially as South Africans. But there are so many things that are disturbing about Zimbabwe. Because when the elections were held there in Zimbabwe, the majority of Zimbabweans were here in the country. That's a very serious area of concern. Because if you can compare ourselves when the African National Congress was still banned, not all of us went outside into exile. We fought here with stones facing the enemy, which was here by the apartheid system. But when it comes to the situation of Zimbabwe, majority of the people there seem to have given up in terms of the consistent elections that are taking place. And they don't, majority of them, they don't even bother to be in their country during elections. While we understand the conditions under which they are living. And for sure, they are our neighbors. But even on citizens of the country, we believe on that people are the liberators of themselves. Let me just pause there.
Right. This is the statement that he says. People are the liberators of themselves. This is a very strong statement in the sense that, of course, solutions are going to come from SADC, and those that are from SADC, they are looking at the situation from outside in, whilst we are looking from inside out. Of course, it is very, very difficult for the Zimbabweans to protest like what South Africans do, but the point that this gentleman is making is very, very valid in the sense that all of us seems to have relegated this position to SADC or AU or any other regional bodies. We have seem to have given up. However, I do not blame the people of Zimbabwe on that fully. Of course, I do, but if you can look at what the African National Congress setup was, they had Winnie Mandela here. She was leading from the front, facing the enemy, facing the apartheid regime. So people of South Africa were so much emboldened. They had that hope because they had a leader who could speak to them and who could tell them that, do this, let's do this. But in our situation in Zimbabwe, we actually have sort of like a barricade of the opposition that then says we want to pursue the path of peace. And on the other hand, you would say, okay, what exactly do you want us to do? Because if one man is going to go into the street and start to protest, they are going to say they arrest that person or they are going to shoot that person, and that's the end of it. The protest is over. and they'll move to the next. Just like what happened on August 1st, 6 people were killed and a commission was established, and that was the end of it. So these are the situations that Zimbabweans face. But what can the Zimbabweans then do? I really think that it comes back to the leadership. The leadership in opposition should provide sort of leadership to say, okay, if you really want SADC to act, what can you do for SADC to act? Are you going to go into the streets and say, SADC act? Are you going to sign a petition? Are you going to go into embassies and say, we want you to act on what is happening in Zimbabwe? Because obviously there's a solution that's going to come from somewhere, but that solution has to be triggered by something. At this point in time, in a mellow or in a cool environment whereby it's almost like business as usual in Zimbabwe, there is no way that SADC is going to act. Yes, they will understand that the elections have been called a sham election, but something has to be triggered, like in the case of 2008. Short sleeve, long sleeve, and the 200 people that were murdered. I'm not saying or suggestively saying that we want people to die first before we see change, or to walk on top of graves for a dialogue or for a resolution. But I'm saying there are other means, peaceful means, whether be it protest, at the embassies, especially across the region, that needs leadership from somewhere. Because I don't think it is fair to say, yes, we had disputed elections, and then you just expect people who are actually aggrieved and who have got limited resources to go out there and protest, for you then to be given power and you say, okay, yes, people voted for me, now it's their responsibility to go and fight for me. At the end of the day, I'm going to become their president, or I'm going to become their leader. I don't think it's fair. You need to provide leadership. So it comes back to the issue of leadership. I believe that as Zimbabweans, we have given up, in the sense that people who are supposed to provide leadership are saying, calm down, we got this. I don't know what you think about this, but this is my feeling, that of course Zimbabweans have given up, but also they have been disenfranchised, or they've been divided by the same leaders. ZANU-PF on the other hand, and also the opposition on the other hand, they are not so decisive on to say, what are we going to do? Let's hit the iron while still hot and make a decision that will make the SADC bodies or international bodies to scream and to say, let's attend to this situation. What is your take? I'd love to hear your thoughts.